now rocking with TDF everything. Spoiled Rotten.
Spoiler alert.
Welcome and welcome back, everybody.
Hey.
It's me, Daniel,
And this is Ben.
on Spoiled Rotten. And today, we are doing a revisit of Season 3 of Titans. I'll let you go first. How did you feel overall?
To be clear, this is a revisit for you. This is a first time through for me.
Yeah, no, I feel that is good to point out. I think
Yes.
we should always point that out. But I think when we started this revisiting series, it was more like looking at these things that we didn't cover initially with
Correct.
the lens of everything that's come since,
Yeah.
right? Like, I think that's kind of what we're doing, but it is important to point out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it before, you haven't.
Yeah, technically this does fall under the realm of that series for us, but for me, it's just something that I have never really watched, because prior to this, I watched like season 1 of Titans and then just never really kept up with it. I think life just got busy and it was one of those things. So now visiting season 3 for the first time, gotta say, took a lot of liberties in writing this season. I think there's a lot of things that mischaracterizations and the whole issue of the whole you can't use Batman problem in a very Batman centric storyline. It's just such a challenge to me. Exactly, they keep doing it. They keep doing it, and then they're just like, oh, okay, well, we'll just use Nightwing for the surrogate standing, because that's what they're doing anyways. Yes. And I'm just like, this is just weird. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still good.
To be fair to the show,
the
last episode's lines lead me to believe they are aware that that's what they've been doing and don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen season 4, so it'll be interesting, because I think my take is this show is like, while I'm watching it, I'm like, ugh. And then I think about it, and I think I like it after the fact. But even when we revisited season 2, I was like, yeah, I don't enjoy the experience of watching this realistically, and I certainly didn't love the experience of watching season 3, but it was like, I guess I'm just like in because they're doing Batman stuff, and I don't mean the actual Batman stuff. That is the stuff that works the least, is anytime Bruce Wayne is involved or invoked at all.
Not great.
But it's still Batman universe, and I'm like, hey, I know that. Hey, I know that. This is cool.
Yeah.
But I don't genuinely, I don't have a genuine like, oh, this is good feeling. It's more like, I guess they just beat me down and I'm watching anyway. So I'm very interested to see what season 4 will be like, because that will be me watching for the first time versus the first 3 seasons. It was just like, yeah, I mean, now that I have to think about this critically, this is how I feel. But before it was just like, I'm just watching because whatever.
Yeah. It's content for us to consume. There's just, I think fundamentally, I don't know if I mentioned this when it came to the other season reviews of the Titans series, but the idea of them just not fundamentally having any fun whatsoever in this, it bothers the freaking heck out of me, because it's just like one of those things that genuinely, it's just like, I've watched a few episodes of Teen Titans Go, whatever, and that was fun. It was just a fun series to be. There's nothing fun about this. Every time there's any kind of levity, it's quickly erased by, there's a great darker thing that's going on. And this is just a moment of just like, oh, okay. And then when you look back on it, like you said, I'm like, it was great in the moment. But when you think back at it, it's just like, that really feels out of character to make that kind of statement at that kind of time. It's weird.
It's weird, especially because this is the same universe. I mean, when I say same universe, same producers, writers, like same team behind it as all the rest of the Arrowverse. Like, they don't have to stick to Arrowverse continuity, but it is the same group of people making it.
Yes.
So you would think that these people would be like, well, we already have like Arrow, Doom Patrol, stuff like that to be dark and serious. Like, we could have another show like Flash where it's like a little more hopeful and fun, because that's what you would do with Teen Titans ultimately. So yeah, I do find that you're right, that they just aren't allowed to have fun. But it is kind of, I think what we'll do this time is just go through the characters, and
Yeah.
we'll go through storylines, because
Mhm.
there's some episodes on this where I was like, I cannot wait for this to be done. I do not want to watch, but yeah, so I don't remember a lot of stuff beat by beat in the season.
Yeah, sure.
But one thing that became clear to me was the characters I enjoy, and I think I felt this way in season 2 as well. But
Mhm.
we can just start here. I like Superboy because he's just
Yeah.
nice.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
I remember the feeling like I hated Dick Grayson when he's like spit kryptonite in his face, and I was like, "You motherfucker! Just
Yeah.
let this nice person help you. What are you
Mhm.
doing?"
Yeah.
And I love that he was just like, "Yeah, man. I guess I just came up with family's more important, so I'll forgive him." And I'm like, "You don't have to. You could leave. Dick
Yeah.
Grayson is a fucking asshole. Well, you could just leave.
Yes.
I like you, Superboy."
Yeah.
And he's hard on himself, so he's not just like completely flat of like, "Oh, everything." Like when he can't save
Mhm.
Hawk, he's
Yep.
really hard on him. So he's like, "No, I'm an idiot. That's like the other side of me that couldn't figure this out." And
Yeah.
I was just like, "Yeah, see, this is an interesting character. He's
Yes.
just a nice person that also is aware of, or not aware of, but has an internal battle he's going through."
Yeah, like that to me, I love his characterization so much, and I would say from season 2 to now, his character has grown up so much
Mhm.
more. And I don't know if that's like in the lore of like, oh, the
'Cause he
Lex
got a
gene
girlfriend.
has turned on, or like, yeah, he got a girlfriend and all that. I don't know if any of that's true because, of course, he's much more intelligent in this season. He's got the Lex stuff coming through in a lot of
He's
what he
just
says.
lived life now. Before it was kind of
Yeah.
like he was in the lab, he didn't get to do anything.
True.
And I think that yes, you give somebody the like smarts of Lex Luthor and actually let them have experiences, they'll develop a lot faster. I think is
Mhm.
the idea. I don't know Superboy lore because I'm just only now getting into Superman lore in
Sure.
general. So I'm sure people will be like, "No, it's this." But for me, just watching, I'm just like, "Yeah, I get it. He's just had more experiences now, and he's around
Yeah.
other people as opposed to
Yeah.
like staying in a tube."
Yeah, yeah. So I do hope that at some point Superboy does leave, specifically Dick, because he's being such a dick in like
Mhm.
every single season, and I'm like, I can't take any more of this.
Yeah,
Every
3 seasons in a
time,
row, and especially in
yeah.
the last episodes where you're like,
Oh
like
God.
because I feel like this season more than the others, where people being like,
Mhm.
"Don't just be Batman." Like that was, I think
Yeah,
even Batman's like, "Just do it better than I did it," and
yeah,
other people are saying it, and he's still doing stupid ass like. And I'm a Batman fan, so I don't think that's a proper representation of Batman. I think it's
sure.
like the easy way out version of like,
Yeah.
"Oh, he doesn't trust anyone, he does it." I think it's
Mhm.
better when you show that he's trying to do things, but with his limited
Mhm.
emotional intelligence in that sense. Like,
Yes.
it comes off bad. But to think of him as just a guy that's fucking people over is weird. But again, I don't, I'm not here to convince people to like Batman.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
that is the take this show has. It feels like a show that's pretty anti-Batman.
Yeah.
But so then it's weird to have 3 seasons of your main character who's supposed to be rebelling against Batman just doing Batman shit,
Yeah.
or
And
their version of Batman shit.
it bothers me so much too that it's just like this starts at the season 1 thing. It's just like, okay, Robin, you're trying to step away from Batman's shadow, but you're doing Batman's thing ever since season 1, and it has not stopped. And
Mhm.
now you're just like, oh, cool, you're in Gotham now, and you're in
So
the
you're probably gonna do it
Batmaner.
even more.
You're gonna double down on it even
Your
more.
muscle
Like
memory
what?
is really gonna be pushing you to be like, "No, be a dick. Be a
It's
dick."
what I don't understand. It's everything that you've told me on and off mic about how great Dick Grayson is and how he prevents Batman from going over that line. Is just like none of that rings true through this characterization and what the story they're trying to tell.
Because this show does a good. I know we were supposed to talk about Superboy, but I feel like he's
Mhm.
too tied up in the Blackfire stuff that I want to talk about later.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
The show, to me at least, does a good job of being like, here's the difference between Tim and Jason.
Correct.
They're very good at being like what I think a lot of people like about Tim Drake, which is he's the actual detective. He's a
Yes.
better Robin than Dick Grayson was, and
Mhm.
certainly better than a Jason Todd.
Mhm.
But Jason Todd is the brawler soldier that
Yeah,
Bruce
he's the
would
fighter.
want. Like that's
Yep.
that's kind of what this show very loosely is showing you.
Yep.
You're supposed to look at it like, yeah, there's a reason Dick Grayson spun off and became Nightwing without having to be killed like Jason Todd or just retconned like Tim Drake, because he is not built to do things the way Bruce Wayne wants to do things. They just have a fundamental like, hey, I can't be under you. I'm gonna do my own thing. But this show is just like, nah, he's just gonna keep doing Batman stuff. Again, this show's version of it. I don't think this is actual Batman stuff. And I'm just like, then what was the point in breaking him off? Like, if he's just gonna do this, you seem to, and again, obviously that comes with more seasons happening, but like you understood what you needed to get right about the other two Robins, but you're just dropping the ball, and for my purposes, on the Dick Grayson stuff.
Yeah. And the thing that bothers me about the Dick Grayson stuff is how it intersects with the Scarecrow stuff and like the visions that he gets and all that kind of stuff when he's under.
Oh yeah, I really didn't like that.
It pissed me off so much because I'm like, cool. At some point, I would expect Dick Grayson to actually heal a lot of the trauma wounds that he has based on that interaction and the realizations he has within it. But then it's inconsequential. Yeah, not only that he let everyone down, it's just that he's trying to make the wrong parent. He's trying to please the wrong parent, which is Bruce. Is the idea of like, oh, you have the unconditional love from your father. That dream sequence reminded you of that. It gave you the validation, and you still carry on doing the thing that you're doing. Like, what are you doing, man?
I mean, I think that's the corner they write themselves into, because
exactly,
ultimately, you are supposed to like Batman as a father figure to the various Bat family members.
Correct.
But this show is so convinced that you should just be like, fuck, man, that guy sucks. That they have this thing where it's like, Dick Grayson is technically doing the right thing, which is taking the guidance from someone who takes action like a Bruce Wayne.
Sure.
But because the show doesn't like Bruce Wayne or Batman, you're like, yeah, what are you doing, man? Like, just be like your other dad, which you technically wouldn't really have at this point in your life that much of still as a competition. Like, Bruce would have been your dad longer than your birth dad in that sense.
Certainly would have had much more influence over, his young adult years.
Moment in Dick's development. So it's like,
absolutely, yeah.
You have the John Grayson base, which makes him interesting as a character because he's just more optimistic than Bruce and is lighter, not in a gee golly way, but just he's lighter. Like that is the balance there. That's what makes them the dynamic duo.
Yeah,
not just the Jason Todd thing, and that's what I said, which is important about distinguishing the different Robins and what they bring to the table, and how a lot of interesting comics put them together because together they make something else. It's not just the guy who's mad and the guy who died and the good detective.
Yeah. I think the issue I think I have a lot with this show is how it keeps trying to lean on the Batman stuff, but knowing that they can't use Batman in the sense where it's like, okay, the Bruce that they're showing us, really, you have to dig deep into really being like, is this Bruce that big of a dick?
It was just Alfred. I wish it was just set at a time where like you just obviously age up that actor. Like, he's got good screen presence. He's just not Batman to me. Like, I don't ever believe he's going to do anything Batman like, or even Bruce Wayne like real.
Yeah, he feels like an Alfred.
I just wish he was Alfred. Or Commissioner Gordon. Like, I wish he was Alfred or Commissioner Gordon, and that's like who Dick has to deal with.
Yes, I think that would be so much better, and even with the same actor, like you said, because I do like that actor. I just don't think he's Batman ever. You could convince me that he's Bruce Wayne, but you can't convince me he would get behind the cowl and do Batman things. Like, it just doesn't have the vibe.
Is the show saying he's still doing Batman things?
It's not interested in telling you that he is right now. It's just that
I'm going away, and I'm like, you would have come back. You would, once the sky turned a certain color, you would have come back.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Were you off doing Batman stuff? Because I can't imagine anything else that would keep you from coming back to Gotham sooner.
That's what I hate about this show, in the sense where it's not giving you a good writing reason why he's not there. It's just like, oh, okay, they and this is one of my biggest issues. They made Bruce Wayne Batman in this season off screen kill the Joker, and I'm like, okay, cool. So then we have to deal with what that feels like in the sense where it's like, great, another Batman that kills. If you can stomach that, great. But then the idea of, okay, well, that conflict between Red Hood and Batman is strictly removed, in the sense where Red Hood's frustration is like, you couldn't make that one exception for me to kill.
It gets rid of the Joker thing, but it still leaves them with the "Are you my dad or not?" thing. That's
Correct.
that. I think this season definitely, as I said,
Mhm.
I like their versions of Jason Todd and Tim Drake. They're not
I do
comic
like Jason
accurate.
Todd.
I mean,
Yeah,
Tim Drake is way more comic accurate, but like
sure,
I like Jason Todd as a character just because of he's doing something. Like he
sure.
feels like he's actually alive when he's on screen.
Yep.
Um, and so I like the just that moment where he has to go see Leslie Tompkins, and
Hmm.
he's like, "Fuck! Like, what? Are you listening in on these things? Can I have nothing to myself? Like, what? Do you trust me or do you not?" And so, yeah, the Joker being dead is kind of like irrelevant at that point because
Hmm.
the show is has decided, oh, he's gonna take care of that because he does love Jason. But is that if that's the only way he can show he loves Jason, then we still have a problem.
Yeah, yeah. We still have huge problems because
Yeah.
it's like the idea. Like the one thing that Bruce does do that goes like, okay, yeah, you have that is a dickish thing in hindsight. Is the idea that he had a roster of people to
Mhm.
already step up and be the next Robin. I'm like, yeah, that's a dick thing to do. That's an absolute
Which again,
absolute bullshit thing to do.
I'm not saying that's never happened in the comics, but to me, it's always like he reluctantly takes someone else on because
Yes.
the take I like of Batman having a Robin is he is trying to avoid a villain down the line. He's
Hmm.
seeing somebody who's at a crossroads and is like, I'm going to intervene so
Yes.
that they don't become the next Joker or whatever. Like
Hmm.
I like that idea, but not just like, well, who's next on the list of people? Like he's not. He's
Hmm.
always like, I hope this works out, and when it doesn't, it fucks him up. He's not just like, all right, on to the next one.
Hmm. Hmm. It's yeah. The show doesn't even show you that whatsoever. You know,
Yeah,
it's just like, okay, this is just an avoidantly detached Batman Bruce Wayne, which sure, like that is who he is. But at the end of the day, I'm like, the show doesn't go to the lengths it needs to convince me that Bruce is actually a dick in this. You know what I mean? Like in season 2, the thing that pissed me off was like, okay, Bruce is just supplying you with everything you need. He's
yeah, he's trying to
bankrolling
help.
the Titans.
Yeah,
He's trying to help. He's doing everything that makes everything that Dick Grayson's doing to be like, what are you doing? Like
yeah,
he's supporting you. You even because the lore of the night, the reason why he chose the moniker Nightwing is like because he's like, no, I'm choosing something that's Superman
yeah.
related to
That's
piss you
Superman's
off.
hero.
Yeah, that's Superman's hero, and it's just the idea of like that never even coming up here and being like he not even saying anything. He's like, cool, I'll fund your suit, I'll buy it for you, I'll do all this stuff that you and just like this Bruce actually feels like a good guy. It's like, what's going on with this Dick guy? This guy's
I'll be honest.
terrible.
I like that Dick is in the suit a lot of this season.
I do love that too. His
I'm like,
the
yeah,
suit is really
keep
really
doing
good.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's
also I'm just like,
clear that they spent more of the budget on Dick's suit than like Starfire's suit because like although Starfire's suit is good in design, in terms of execution, I'm like, oh, that's just a bodysuit.
to me, I'm like, yeah, this is a smart way of doing it, but it doesn't
Hmm.
look as good as the Nightwing suit. But it is
Yeah,
visually, I'm like, I see what they did to try and get you in the ballpark of what the comics look like, and I
yeah,
appreciate it.
sure.
But yes, it does not look as good, just tactically as
No,
I don't mean tactically. What do I mean? Tactile wise, just like it doesn't look as good to the touch as the
yeah,
Dick Grayson suit.
yeah. It's like
Um,
a Timu Superman or superhero
this
costume.
season also brings in, I guess we've talked a long time without saying what this season is about. Uh, Scarecrow
The
brings Red Hood and tries
Yeah,
to make all of Gotham scared, and I definitely tuned out most times Scarecrow was on the screen,
I
so
hated
I did not know what
Scarecrow.
was going on. Really,
I hated it so much, man. I was just
was not
like,
into
what
it.
is like, okay. The thing with Scarecrow that was like, I don't know if Bruce recorded that memo of his psychological analysis of Scarecrow because he was like, hey, I just want to have this in case he hears his own thing at some point to mess with his head. But I'm just like, oh, I just don't like this iteration of Scarecrow. Like that description that Batman described Scarecrow to is him to a T, but in a juvenile, non-threatening way. It's just like, oh, you just described a man-child as opposed to someone that's severely unhinged
I
and
would
all that kind
agree
of
that
stuff.
it's not the performance. I understand the choices being made, but it
Yeah.
doesn't seem in line with what they've written the
Mhm.
Scarecrow to be. It seems like,
Yeah.
oh, this is an interesting thing, but like this doesn't feel like the Scarecrow that's fought Batman a bunch of times. This feels
No.
like Scarecrow starting out.
Yep.
like maybe he'll get, but obviously that's not the case. So
Yeah.
it just was like, all right, well, whatever. I'm not really gonna pay attention to this.
Yeah.
Also Barbara Gordon shows up, which is
Don't
cool, I
don't
guess.
love the Barbara Gordon stuff in
I
this, to
was
be
just
perfectly
confused. I was
honest
like,
with
so
you.
wait, are they back together or not? Or am I watching what are they called? Am I watching flashbacks sometimes? I didn't know what the
Mm,
timeline was for a lot of this, if I'm being honest.
sure.
I was just like, wait, what? Like, including the death of Jason Todd. I'm like, so what? When did that happen? Like, did he already know the Scarecrow before he died? Like, as
I
in,
needed
like
them
that
to,
meeting.
yeah,
Not that he,
yeah,
like, obviously he knew of Scarecrow, but it feels like he meets the Scarecrow then dies.
yeah,
And I was like,
which
I
is
don't know
weird.
what's going on here.
Yeah,
And I didn't like. I get it. Like there was they did a good job of justifying why a Batgirl was this without showing Batgirl, but just her being like, no, I need to be my own thing, so I'm gonna start off as a rebelling thing, like kind of like
yep,
Catwoman. I think they even say what's with the Catwoman get up,
yep.
and she's like, yeah, I don't want to be known as my dad's daughter,
Hmm.
and I think what I liked about it, while also just not really caring about the character, was like she seems to be handling wanting to get out of her parents' shadow way better than
Hmm.
Dick.
Yes,
Even though
absolutely.
she ends up being commissioner, I'm like, it feels like she went through the journey and realized probably like I'm just gonna be doing this anyway. But at
Yeah,
least it feels like she like broke out and did her own thing.
yeah. That she's got the whole air of I did it my way,
Hmm.
kind of thing, and I respect that so much. And to your like, yeah, they both become commissioner. Great. That's not the challenge. It's the idea of like
She actually
Gordon,
tried to do
her,
something different.
yeah, they want to be fighting crime. That's the
Hmm.
whole point. And she just tried to do, well, obviously she can't because she's in the wheelchair here because obviously I'm thinking the Killing Joke kind of stuff happened in this version
Yeah, she
already and we
said the
just didn't
Joker
see it.
shot me.
Yeah, exactly. So, the idea of like, okay, well, she can't physically fight crime anymore. We have the hints of Oracle. We have all those kind of things, but she's doing it from a system standpoint. And I'm like, yeah, she's doing a different path, but ultimately fulfilling what her need is to fight crime. And I'm like, great, good for you. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
but I
But
wasn't like interested in the stuff. I was just like, yeah, okay,
no,
good. That's a
it,
good. That's a well written thing. I'm just
it,
not engaged when it's happening on screen.
and my reason for not being engaged when it's happening on screen is because of how much she has to interact with Dick and how
Hmm.
much Dick annoys me in this. Like every scene that Dick isn't in and she's in, I'm like, great, I want more of this. Like,
Well, because
give
she
me more
just
Barbara
seems way
Gordon.
more interesting. When, then you have
Yeah,
to, she like people have to like kind of. No, I wouldn't say people. She has to flatten when she's with him because he's just got the one mode, and you're like,
yep.
oh,
He's
all
just
right,
constant melancholy anger that I'm like,
yeah.
don't love
But
this.
yeah, she's there. That's nice.
Yeah.
And her, I guess, department was infiltrated by Argus and just other bad cops.
Yep.
But that happens. Uh,
It's Gotham, baby. Corruption's everywhere.
yeah, we can talk about Starfire's sister, Blackfire now.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
like
let's do
Blackfire.
that.
I
I like
find
Blackfire a
Blackfire is
lot.
way more interesting than Starfire, and I'm not sure why
Yeah.
they keep. Because I like the Starfire actress a lot. I think she's
Mhm.
potentially a stronger actress, but they
Yeah.
just do not want to write for Starfire or
Yeah.
Beast Boy. It feels like they're
Yeah.
just like they're in the Titans, but we don't really have anything for them to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
It's
then you
true.
have like Blackfire's sister. I'm like, I am 100% on board with her just having her own show. Like, I would
Mhm.
love to watch her and Superboy, and she's just so interesting because
Crypto.
she's so and Crypto. Like,
Yeah.
Crypto's an interesting character too, and they give him like stuff to do,
Yeah. It's great.
especially his distrust of Dick Grayson. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
you understand, you get
Yeah.
it.
He
I
gets
mean,
it.
you got played, but still, you initially knew to be like, hey, I don't like how close you are to Superboy.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
They definitely give Crypto more writing than they do Beast Boy in this. It feels like Beast
this
Boy's
is the thing. Like,
sole role is like, hey, we need a connection to Raven. So like, that's
who's
why
also
you're
just
here.
not really in this season. So you're
Yeah,
like,
it's
what?
not in here at all. It's just like
I
got
mean,
written
at
out, and
least he
then
gets to
oh,
be
we're
on
gonna bring you
screen a
back.
lot.
Yeah,
But
he does.
one thing is clear: they're like, we will let Ryan Potter fight, but we don't want to see him do anything that involves an arc.
Yeah, no, they don't know what to do with Beast Boy except for anything to related to Raven, and because, like you pointed out, it's like, yeah, she's gone for half the season. I thought it was going crazy. In the
Mhm.
beginning of the season, I'm like, where's Raven? Like, what the hell's happening there? And then it's just like, she's on Themyscira. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, that's a choice, but
Well, she
it,
went
it
to bring back Donna.
sure, yeah, but it genuinely meant no Beast Boy in this, like
Well, I'm just saying
at
he was
all.
on screen a lot. He
Yeah,
was just mostly fighting people and then being disrespected. I,
yeah,
I was just like, oh, well, I guess that's just what you have to expect when you're watching
mhm,
Titans. They're not gonna really have anything to do
yeah,
for Starfire or Beast Boy. At least in this season, they were doing the whole Starfire's not really in control and she's having visions, but I
mhm,
didn't care. I
yeah,
was like, I don't
yeah.
know what's the point of this.
It's pretty weak stuff. I
It
mean,
just
like,
felt like you just get her to deal with her sister and have that realization that
yeah,
like their parents tried to kill their sister.
yeah,
That 51% thing of like, oh no, they just decided it was easier to kill me than to work with me at all as parents.
yeah.
And so you think I killed or killed our parents out of like malice? I was just trying to survive.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, no, her character is so much better. I like the ordeals that she goes through. Is like, yeah, why would I go back?
Mm-hmm.
Like why not stay here and rule and all it? There's so much pull and push with her character
Mm-hmm.
that I'm like, no, this is way more interesting than Starfire is.
Yeah.
Just the idea of Starfire being like, oh, you just kind of do whatever everyone else needs. You don't really have a motivation of your own. And when you do, they just kind of like, oh, okay, so you're a detective and we wrote you off the show for half of season two. And I'm like, what happened here? This is weird.
Yeah. Well, I think in this season she tries to work with a mob boss, and then the mob
A
boss is
little
like, "Oh,
bit.
I'm just gonna kill my son." No, I wasn't trying to get my son out of protection, and she's like, "Hey, what? You got me!" But they still kill her. But it was still just like,
Yeah.
I was just like, "Wow, you really got played here." I don't know why we went on this side mission,
Hmm. Hmm. Don't
especially
get
since
it.
she was like, "We're just gonna get the information how we want anyway." I was like, oh, "Okay, then do that.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
let me see you be competent at that."
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, Hawk and Dove still remain my most interesting pairing. I really like Hawk and Dove.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I remembered he died in this season, but I didn't remember that he got to meet up with his brother again. I'm like, that's a happy ending. I like that for him.
Yeah, I genuinely thought that was great. I was like, oh, good. And then when they were like the whole resurrection episode, I'm like, I think this cheapens the brother thing. I think it really does. And
Oh,
then
not to
the
me.
fact that he no, and then he didn't resurrect. I'm like, oh, okay, we're good now. We're good now. Like if he did come back, I would have been like, that would
It's
have
hard for me because I'm
felt a
like,
little
he
weird.
obviously got Reacher around this time, so I just know he's
Yes.
not coming back. Like, and
Yeah.
I'm also happy for him that he's the star of a show instead of like fourth fiddle.
Sure.
So it again, that's part of the revisiting series of like we already have all this information. It's not
Yeah.
like we're like, oh, what's gonna happen next? It's like,
Ooh,
oh,
where's his career
I already
going?
know that like he's
Yeah.
gone. So I
He's
can at
Jack
least be
Reacher.
happy. Yeah, I can be happy for him that it's like, even though I know he's someone who actively tells people I want to be Batman, and he clearly likes being superheroes because he was also
Yep.
Aquaman in Smallville. Like
Yep.
he obviously likes this, but and he was Raphael in the Ninja Turtle movies as well. So like he likes this shit, but I mean Richard's not a bad option either. So
No, Reacher's
you can
very
do.
good. It's very in line with him, and he's good
Um
in it apparently. So, but
yeah,
yeah,
and he probably needs Reacher for people to see him as that before he if he's I don't think he's ever gonna be Batman, but if he
no,
would,
he's not
it
gonna
would
be
be
Batman.
better if he was something else and not in the
Yeah,
DC universe already and then just switching to Batman.
yeah,
So
he's
yeah,
never gonna
that's
get
good for
Batman.
him. But yeah, I was happy with that. I think we talked about it last season that I was like, I don't even know why they killed Donna. Like that could have just been a Tim and Hawk thing in the
Yeah.
end. Because it didn't really make sense that she was on the train too. Like
My God, when
they
you told me that she comes back in the season, I was so angry about it. I'm
look,
like,
she's like my favorite character. I'm happy she's back, but I was just like, I don't know why they killed her in the first place. It didn't
like
really
that's
make
what I'm
sense.
angry about, and it's just the whole idea of like there's just too much resurrection in this season.
Well,
It's just
everyone
too
gets
much.
shot. Like
Yeah, everyone
Blackfire
gets
gets shot,
shot.
Tim gets shot,
Yeah,
Dick gets shot. Like
it's
everyone gets shot, and then they're like,
inconsequential, and then
"Good
they're
thing we
like,
have
"Oh,
Lazarus
right,
Pit
yeah, that's right." And it's just
or the
like,
train."
"Oh man," yeah, or the train. It's like, "Oh, there's multiple ways to come back." I'm like, not unless you have signed a contract with another production company.
Yeah, I don't. I was just like, I don't. it didn't make sense to me that she would be on the train too.
It
Like
did not make
she
any
died
sense.
already. Like it makes sense. It's like she's on the train, but Hawk, who died in this season, is all set up and off the train. Like it doesn't. I get that you can be like, oh, time is whatever, but I'm like, it's not well enough established what the rules are
No.
for me to think this was a good idea
Yeah.
to resurrect her this way when you just didn't need to kill her at all.
Yeah. Yeah. It bothers me because I'm like, oh, first of all, foremost, we got to deal with the Red Hood thing right off the bat. Like, oh yeah, he's not actually dead. He's okay, good. And then we get all this death and then no consequences, and it's just like, yeah, okay, the Reacher thing is like, okay, that's pretty permanent. So I don't know, like, and I'm like, oh yeah,
And
right
like
on
Dawn's
cue.
just not in it after,
Yeah.
or like Dove is not in
Dove
it
is
after he
Yeah,
dies.
yeah, exactly. So I'm like, I wonder if we'll see Duff again.
I did
But
like that episode or that sequence of events. I don't know if I liked the whole episode, but I liked when Red Hood gets Hawk and
yeah,
puts the bomb in him
Mhm.
and tricks Dove into killing the love of her life. He's like, oh,
Yeah.
see, looks like I gave you the truth. I was like, hey, that's fucking good stuff.
That's
actually,
dark
for once.
as shit. And I'm
It's
like,
dark,
okay.
but also you feel the clock. Like they're like, no, this is
Yeah.
how many beats he has left. I was like, this is interesting. I am engaged.
Yes, absolutely. That's
And
one of the
because
only
it's these
episodes.
characters that
Yeah,
I
because
like.
I'm just like, because I know about the Reacher thing, that I'm just like, cool. This is gonna be the only death this season that actually matters. And I didn't realize they were gonna go do that with freaking Dick at the end of the season too. It's like, oh, okay, that's a whole
Yeah,
lot of nothing.
Yeah,
It's
there
just
was no need to have him get shot like that.
absolutely no need whatsoever, because it's not like it triggered something in Jason. It's not like it's like, oh, okay, like now I've gone too far. It's the idea
No,
he
he
already
was
had.
like, yeah, I know he was putting on an act, but like he was
Yeah,
doing that the whole season. So as you said,
exactly.
there was no change in Jason
Yeah,
because of
yeah.
that.
And there was pushback against the Scarecrow stuff already before that scene. So I'm just
Mhm.
like, so the death really was pointless. It just except for the idea of
It was
like, yeah,
just for
we're
The
just
only
gonna do Batman stuff.
Yeah, it was only there to
That's
help
it.
Dick, and I was just like, oh, all right.
Yeah, and then and here's the thing that sucked too. Speaking about Beast Boy, when he turned into the bat, I'm like, is he gonna turn into a giant bat? That would have been really, really cool. No, it's just this freaking small, tiny ass
They're
bat,
like,
and I'm
do
like,
not remind anyone of Man Bat. Just
yeah.
just make him a small green bat, please.
Exactly. I was like, are they gonna do a man
I was
bat
like,
like
he's not even
thing?
gonna lift
No,
him. He's just there
no.
coaching all the other bats.
Yeah. In which case, I'm just like, he didn't need this. All the other bats kind of knew what they were doing to begin with. Otherwise, it would
Yeah.
have just gathered there.
Also,
It's
are
just-
we to understand
what?
that was Batman who sent those bats?
I would like to think that he was involved in some capacity, but nah, probably not. I think it's just like, okay, well,
Or just
I guess the bats are
from the
tuned in.
Batcave who
The
then
bats
you
from the
don't need
Batcave.
Beast Boy to turn into a green bat and show them what to do.
They
Those bats
didn't.
would have been like, oh no, our boy's dead.
Yeah,
We grew up with
that's
him. We love
exactly
him.
it. It's the whole Beast Boy transformation thing into a bat made very little sense to me, because it was like, it wasn't like he was in bat language being like, you need to pick him up and we need to
I
go
mean,
to the
he could have
Lazarus
been.
pit.
I don't know.
Because
He was doing a lot
he-
of chirping.
He did not even know about the Lazarus pit, did he?
No, this is what I'm saying. I don't understand what
Mhm.
his purpose was, other than they were like, we have to have him change into something other than a tiger.
Yeah, we have so much money allocated towards this budget. And I'm like, didn't he transform into a snake at some point? Like, just bring the snake thing back.
He did.
Snakes
I
are
think he did
freaking
2 or
cool.
3 animals this season. I
Yeah,
don't
he
remember what
did.
they
He
were.
did bat.
One of
I
them
know
was a
bat
bat.
and tiger. That's about it. But like,
No, he did something else. I know he did something else. I
Did
just
he?
don't remember what he did.
Whatever.
It's not important. That show
It's
does not care
definitely
about
not.
him.
No.
I'm not going to be forced
No.
to care about somebody that show just does not care about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who else do we got here? Yeah, I mean, I've already said it. I really like Donna Troy. When she came back, I was like, yeah, now we're
Donna's good.
cooking.
Yeah.
Obviously, stupid way that we come back to her, but she's back, and I'm on board with, because like everyone she has a scene with, I'm like, yep, they're doing a good job. She's doing a good job.
Yep.
Let's just keep the hits coming.
Yeah. Yeah. I love her character, so I'm excited to see her back. And like you said, I'm like, yeah, it's dumb, but she's just back. We'll just be like, why did you kill her in the first place? Like, it just seems in a season where it's like there was so much death already with Aqualad and all that kind of stuff, it seemed
Mhm.
unnecessary to kill you.
Then,
But it is what it is. But then we got Raven.
Yeah, she was just
She's fine.
she
She was
didn't
just fine.
but she didn't even resurrect Donna. It was just like Donna was like, "Oh, thanks, Hawk, for telling me how to resurrect." I was like, what? Wasn't the whole thing that she's over there trying to do that, and then it's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess
That's
you're just
why I
gonna
was
give people
like,
nightmares now. Like that's the Raven comes back and puts liquid into Scarecrow's mouth at the end, and you're like, oh, all
yeah.
right, well,
It's like, and here's the thing too. I don't know if that heals or fixes Red Hood whatsoever. You know what I mean? I don't know if it does anything beneficial to him, to remove that and put it in Scarecrow. Because the thing that, then I do want to talk about Red Hood in a little bit, but I'm just like, that seemed to be the only thing, and it was unclear whether or not that was actually like, okay, he's good, he's back to being Jason Todd now, and he's got a new style, he's using guns, and people are okay with that.
see, I was all on. I know you said you want to talk about Red Hood later, but it
Sure.
just reminds me, like, yeah, I was on board with his Red Hood style. Like, I like that they stuck pretty much to like the Under the Red Hood and the
Yep.
Arkham Knight game style of
Mhm.
like Scarecrow working with Red Hood, but
Yep.
also really focusing on the whole like this is here to control the mob. Like
Mhm.
anytime his mask broke and you could hear his real voice, I was like, that's a shame because you definitely sound way
Yeah.
cooler with the mask on.
Yeah, I
Like
agree.
it's just like he'd be like, "Hey guys," and I'm like, "No, no, no. You need to just not talk if your mask breaks."
Yeah, yeah, it's like you need to do the Batman voice thing where it's
Yeah,
like,
the
no,
modulation.
he definitely needs to change it for sure. But I'm with you. I really liked what he did with Red Hood. I like one of my the story was that I want to see adapted to big screen or like whatever faithfully is the Red Hood story, and
Hmm.
like this is the closest we've gotten so far, and I'm like, he's doing a good job with what they're giving him to do.
I think he's
It's
good in the role. Like
yeah,
whatever they're wanting him to do, he's making it work.
yeah, because it works, like he works and all that kind of stuff. It's just like you get into this uncomfortable characterization where it's like, okay, in later versions of the telling of the story, Red Hood is like this freaking linebacker of a guy, and he's giant, and he's Jason Todd's still the size he is right now. So I'm just like, interesting. I wonder if there's a lore element of like, oh, maybe he got Bane blood in him, because I don't know too much about Red Hood
No,
aside from the
it's
fact that
just
all of a sudden they're chill with the Bat family at some point. But like,
yeah,
you know,
he becomes like just part of the team.
yeah,
The issue is they just cast who they cast. So there's
yep,
no like I think they did a good job of being like he can still beat people up. Like he
yep,
he was good at hand to hand, he was good at the guns. He just and ultimately you don't want him to feel too scary because the point is that he will always come back and work with
mhm,
Bruce and
sure,
Dick and has interesting relationships with like Damien's not in this, but Tim in
mhm,
particular as the younger of the family member, younger of the brothers. They'll always
mhm,
have like a little thing going on, and that's always the interesting thing. So you want him to feel just not beyond saving or like, oh wow, look at that linebacker, really. Um,
sure.
given how everyone else looks like, yeah, he's on the small side, but I feel like they did a good job of being like, no, this is how he works.
Yeah, yeah. I really like what they did with him. Scarecrow's plan with him makes a lot of sense to be like, no, we're gonna pose you as the hero. Like all
Hmm.
of that makes sense. It's just I hated everything about the actual decisions about what they did with Scarecrow in that, right? Because I'm just like,
Yeah, I have nothing to say about Scarecrow other than I did not care.
I did not care
I was just
whatsoever.
like,
I
oh,
was I was just so
it's Pete
disappointed when
Campbell from
they
Mad Men. Oh,
yeah.
that's cool. Well,
I was just disappointed when he was like, I found my mask, and then now we're gonna be like, no masks. And I'm like, great.
yeah,
That's that's what comic book fans want to see is you out of
yeah.
the mask.
Makes me be like, is this guy like? No, people came to see my face. Like I
Yeah.
remember that was a Tobey Maguire thing. Like he said it in the commentary for Spider-Man 3. He's like, I think people come to see our faces. And I'm like, nope,
No, they
no,
don't.
just put on the Spider-Man mask. Like that's why the mask kept burning off or him ripping it off.
Yeah.
It's like, no, people want to see me.
Yeah. And
And I
I'm
like
like,
that's what
no.
Kevin Smith said. He's like, whoever thought of doing the heads up display for Iron Man cracked the code. Because
Yeah.
now you don't feel like you're being cheated out of him doing the Iron Man stuff, but you still
Yeah.
have the connection.
It's true. It's true. You get to see the facial reactions and all that kind of stuff. It's great. So yeah. I
Um, yeah, that's Red Hood. What are we gonna talk about? I feel like we talked about everybody.
We talked about everyone. We talked about everyone here. Yeah, I just this show is just writing itself into a corner constantly.
And as I said, I'm interested to see what happens when I'm watching season 4 for the first time. Will I have that?
Same.
Will I have that? Like, well, they've already beaten me over the head. I guess I'm just in for the thing. I guess we didn't really talk about Tim Drake.
We need to, because he's got the implications. Because of the implications.
You get it.
Because of the implications.
Yeah,
I really, really, really love the fact that all the scenes involving Tim Drake, his family, his home, and all that kind of stuff was at the Chinatown restaurant that I used to go to a lot. And I'm like, oh man, I know where that is. That's great.
And that his dad is played by my cousin, where I'm like,
that's
there's
right.
no chance that's your son. Like, I appreciate you as an actor, but like, it's such weird casting. I don't buy that that's your wife, and I don't buy that that's your son.
Yeah, I loved everything that Ryan did. I'm just like, yeah, this ain't clicking here.
I guess that's kind of why I like the season, that I was like, I'm glad they chose my cousin, because visually he doesn't work, but I liked his character. Like, even if it wasn't him, I would like that character, and I'm just glad Ryan got to play it.
Yeah.
And I told him, like, this might be my favorite season, not just because you're in it, but obviously you being in it really kicks it up. And it was that thing of like, wow, they really just went ahead and cast him, even though he doesn't visually fit with what they're doing family wise here.
Right.
Like, yeah. Anyway, I think that I like that he just gets on board. Both parents get on board of like, look, yeah, you got to save Gotham. Like, I want to protect you, but also like, okay, you need us to help. Let's rally. When he tries to lie to the cops when they're doing everything, I'm just like, yeah, good. I like having this element of Tim Drake's. I mean, I don't think Tim Drake's parents ever help out, but I like the idea that they're showing he's not an orphan and he is a detective. Sometimes they get a little heavy-handed with it, but that is his whole thing, is that he studied everything and was like, I've pieced this together. Yeah, that was his in. It wasn't quite like the Joseph Gordon-Levitt thing, but it was that.
The thing I like about the Tim Drake stuff is that it's really, really showing you this need to fight crime without the presence of that heavy trauma that every other character has that association with. And to me, that's so cool. I can't wait to see what happens with that. Especially, I'm like, oh man, you are going to become Robin. So how are they going to write about Batman and your relationship?
I guess they're going to have to do like Red Robin or something like that.
I guess so. But
like, maybe it won't matter, because I don't know, man. I guess the show is like, nah, he's still doing Batman stuff, but it does feel like he would need to do the solo Red Robin thing at this point.
Yeah,
he is being taken under the wing of Dick and just becoming a Titan. So I guess that's their thing,
right? I don't know, but
Titan.
I'm just glad that Ryan's character didn't die, even though he got shot.
Yeah, because I was like, wait, he gets shot. Like, rewatching, I judged, was like, wait, he got shot already? Like, well, I don't remember that.
Yeah,
I just knew all the scenes I liked that happened later. I was like, what is he gonna do? Lazarus Pit too? The show was like, no, just everyone needs to get shot.
He just straight up didn't die. He just got shot point blank through the chest and he lived through it. Like, he good. I did like every scene that he was in, because I'm like, I know that guy.
Yeah, but also, I think
it's a cool feeling.
As I think I said it off mic last, it was just like, like you said, like, oh, that was at the Chinese restaurant I always went to, and I was like, oh, and they're right outside the Cameron house, which I've performed many times, and it was like, like, this is, I'm liking that aspect, but I'm also like, that's not the slums.
Gotham.
You'll be fine. Oh no, you'll be fine outside of the Cameron house. Don't worry.
Yeah, I don't think, because this is my issue with the show, and like I think this is more of a budget thing than anything else. But they don't go to enough lengths to hide the fact that it's Toronto to me.
But I don't think anyone who's not like,
people that not from Toronto wouldn't have these gripes. 100%.
And like, I know, but to me, I'm just like Hamilton, and I'm like, I can't tell exactly the shifts from Toronto to Hamilton.
Right. Aside from like the country roads kind of stuff that they do, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. It could be any county road. Great, whatever. But it is it is kind of it's so fun, and having that added element of like, oh, that's Ryan. This is great.
Yeah, I don't think he's
So
in
much
season
fun.
4, but
Yeah.
I also have never let myself look. I just don't think he's in it,
Fair enough.
which is fine. I think they're just gonna be like, nah, he's just a Titan now. We don't need to talk to his parents, which I think is the best way to do Tim Drake in this version. Like,
Probably they
you
served
don't
his
need to like
purpose.
bring his parents back into it.
It's not that I don't want to see Ryan again. It's just like, no, if you're gonna bring him back, there's got to be a purpose for it.
Yeah,
And like,
bringing him back might kill him, so just
yeah,
let him
and
live in that universe.
that's exactly how I feel. I'm like, oh no, you're gonna be written as a story beat, and they're gonna have to kill you. That's not
Yeah,
fun. So I'm just like, no, make it make sense. And I'm just like, okay, this Tim Drake character I really really like because he's got that hopefulness, he's got
Mhm.
that kind of thing, and even that first punch he throws out, I'm like, this is great. You
yeah,
actually
'cause
made
he's
the
like, oh no, that
yeah,
hurt.
you made the acting choice of like showing that you're not a cool tough guy. You're just like a guy that's really passionate and like a
It is what I'm
fanboy about
thinking
this.
about. I'm like,
But yeah,
are they gonna like train him on how to fight? Because it feels like
yeah, they are.
him not being a good fighter only works if he's like Raven, but he's
Yeah,
not. He's just a guy.
yeah, he's just a dude,
So
so they got to
he's
train
gonna
him how to
have,
fight for
yeah,
sure.
he's gonna need to. I mean, he's gonna have weapons, and
Yeah.
that's fine. But I'm just
Mhm.
like, yeah, you need to know how to fight, man.
Yeah, yeah, it's real good. I like all those acting choices he's making to be like, no, I am a nerd. And then it's and like I think the best thing about it too, knowing that he's joining the roster, I guess, of the Titans, is like maybe season 4 will be a little bit of fun.
Yeah,
Because Tim Drake's character is fun and
and
it's
Dick seems
got that
lighter,
like
but
yes,
he was like, let's
and
do a road trip instead of taking the jet.
yeah, he's got also this optimism behind him that I'm just
Hmm.
like, this is what this team needs right now. Because everyone like the way I see it is like Garth is always the heart of the team in the sense of like, you know, how Captain Planet there was like the one guy with heart as
Hmm.
his ring. That's what Beast Boy feels like, but they don't care to write him that way. With Tim Drake's
Well,
character, I'm like,
anytime he
okay, maybe
tries,
he's
they
gonna
like
be
shit on him.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
he
I
like I
feel
think it happened
like
a couple times this season where he was trying to be nice.
yeah,
Like he was trying to be nice, and was it Superboy? I was like, no, you don't know anything. Shut up. Like, and he's like, all right,
yeah,
like
it
sorry for
was,
trying to help you, asshole.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. So I'm hoping that they are able to transfer that to Tim Drake, but not have anyone shit on Tim Drake for being optimistic or happy or
I
anything
mean,
like that.
Donna's back. No, wait, she did go with them. Never mind.
No, she did not. I think she's
Wow,
going back to like uh the mascara or something like that.
interesting. Um,
I mean, it makes sense what the old woman that tracked her down said. It's
yeah,
just
like
like,
the
yeah, you've
fuck,
been brought back to. We don't know what this is gonna do, and I'm like, yeah, that actually that's
sort it
valid.
out. Yeah,
Yeah, just sort that out first. Like, I get it.
and uh, you might have a better memory of this. What
Hmm.
happened to Deathstroke's kid?
He just wrote her off. She just
But did they even say what happened to her, or are they just like she's gone?
she's just gone.
All right, well,
She's
fair
gone.
enough. I don't care.
She's got the brother like fused into
Inside of
her,
her.
and then she's just like, all right, peace out, and that's it. And I'm
Because on
like,
the recap, they
fine.
made it seem like she was still part of the team because that's the shot they used, and I was like, "Is
Yeah,
she?" Because I don't remember her
it
being
was
in this season at all.
real weird. It was real weird when they used that shot. I'm like, I don't. They should not have reminded us of that.
Yeah, because I think when I watched season 3, I completely forgot about her, and then
Mhm.
this rewatch, obviously because we've rewatched all of them, I'm just like, what? Where did she go? Like, did she walk off at the end of the
Yeah,
last season?
I think she
I thought she
did.
was part of the team.
No, I think she walked off. She was like,
Okay,
nah,
fair
this
enough.
ain't for me. There was this one scene in the whole resurrection episode where I'm like, wait, is that the Deathstrike's daughter? And I'm like, did she die off screen? And it turned out no, it was just someone. It was the effect that they had, the black and white
Hmm.
scaling and all that kind of stuff that made me think. I'm like, because I legit thought that they brought her back for the death thing to be like, wait, you killed her off and then brought her back for this episode? What's the point of that?
No.
But yeah, to me, I'm like, if they did if they did have her in this season, I'd be like, so they're gonna use her to do the whole like, and this is the Lois Lane kind of thing when Batman, I mean when Superman went evil in like the Justice League and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, would they do a version of that? Probably, which doesn't feel great from her standpoint. from a role.
We don't know. I genuinely don't. I know nothing about season 4. Never seen
Yeah.
it, so we'll see what happens.
I just
I
know
know it's
that
the
there
last
is
season.
one. Yeah. I just know that there is a season 4,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, yeah, we're gonna review it, and we're probably gonna have a lot of thoughts about it. I am excited that I'm like, okay, we're both visiting season 4 for the first time, but at the end of the day, I'm like, man, just give me some joy in this. This is not great to watch. It's too dark. It is trying to be too adult, and it's just they just don't they're just using these characters as stand-ins for other characters in the adult versions of that.
Except for Hawk and Dove and
Yeah.
Superboy and Blackfire, which is why they're the most successful parts of the season for me.
Correct.
Because I'm like, oh, these are people that are just making their own. And obviously, Hawk and Dove is very sad and depressing,
Yeah.
but that's offset with the fun of Blackfire and Superboy being like,
Mhm.
hey, like we like being together. We are
Yeah.
giving each other some kind of comfort
Mhm.
and exploring things. And then, yeah, they're not together at the end, but she's like, oh, but I have the scientist working on something so you can breathe on my planet. I was like, that's nice. I'm sure we'll never
yeah.
see her again, but that's nice.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, this still has breakup energy with it, though.
Yeah,
So,
which
like,
is fine. I
just
just like them
kept a
during the
door
season.
open.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's true. I did like them together. I'm just like, oh, good. He gets a kiss on screen. He gets to do all this
They
kind
have
of
sex
stuff.
on screen. I
This is
love when
great.
he's like, hey, is it okay if I call you my girlfriend? She's like, you better. I'm like, yeah, there we go. That's nice.
Yeah.
People being happy together instead
Yeah.
of weird about everything.
Yeah. Like, no, you can't call me that in front of people. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I am glad about that. But yeah, this series, this season.
I'm glad it's almost done. But it
Are
is
we-
one of those things where like I'll think about it, probably be like, yeah, I guess I liked it, but watching it, I'm like, no. So I can't deal with this.
I just honestly, I do think that they do a couple of really, really good things,
Mhm.
but inconsistently across the board. One of those good things is character design and costume. I think they do a very, very good job. Again, not across the board, because
Yeah.
it's just like, yeah, you really cheaped out on Starfire's outfit for all 3 seasons. Like,
I
there's
would say
no
same with
doubt
Dove.
about that.
I don't think Dove is a very like it doesn't look like they put a lot of effort into it. It's still the costume from the comics like
Mhm.
Starfire, but it's like
Mhm.
this looks like felt. Like it doesn't look like it's really
Yeah, it to me, I'm like, okay, they really spent their budget. We can see where they spent their budget. It's
and
just
even
like,
though
cool.
Superboy is a simple costume, I don't think they put their all into it either. Like
No,
that
they did not.
that shirt should look way different on him. Like
I
fitting-wise.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It should be like some sort of Under Armour shirt where it's like he's barely fitting into and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. Just to be like, no, like establish his physicalness and all that kind of stuff within the presence of the show. I do agree. It's like that's too loose of a t-shirt. It needs to be a smidge bit tighter.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say. I don't really. I to be clear, I don't hate the show.
Mhm.
I recognize it's not really for me, but it still does things where I'm like, hey, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, and and for better or worse, it is a show that is fun until you start thinking about too much. Because I'm just like, and this is why this whole season got me up in arms. I'm just like, wait, you made Batman kill Joker in this. All
To be
right.
honest, that does happen, but I feel like I heard it in like dialogue after the fact, and I was just like, wait, did he? Or is that conjecture, or did he actually do it? And then
Yeah.
you just reminded me, oh yeah, that did happen.
That did happen, and they just like, and that's how it feels. It's like, wait, are we trying to sort through a rumor that he did or he didn't, or like, because there's no ability for them to have any visual confirmation. Like I remember in season 2, they had like this one split second with the Batman suit on camera, and I'm like, oh, don't ever do that again, because that was terrible. That looks so cheap and bad. Don't ever do that.
I feel like that's because it's Titans, and you have a built-in thing of they live literally across the country in San Francisco. Just don't ever
Right.
have them not be in San Francisco again.
Yeah, I don't even know
keep them
why
there
it was
and
never
don't
clear to
involve
me.
Bruce.
It was never clear to me why they were like, oh, we got to go to Gotham in this
Oh, it
season,
was because of the Jason Todd stuff.
because of the death thing. Or-
Yeah, like they
Yeah,
went
okay,
there
fair
and
enough.
they like that they got lured in there. again, I don't
Okay.
like. I know that's why they're there. They
Right.
got lured in, but
Mhm.
it's just, I also was just like, don't do this to yourselves.
Yeah.
Just keep it San Francisco based.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest challenges I think with the show is that because of the characters they want to use and because of what's in the comic book lore, that they ultimately have to go this direction, which to me, I'm like, I don't think that they thought that through
I'll
enough
be
when they
honest with you,
decided these
there's
things.
no reason to touch Red Hood and the Teen Titan thing. They
I
did it to
agree.
themselves.
I
That's
completely agree. It's the idea of like, oh, you introduced Jason Todd in season 2. Oh, you got big shoes to fill. Like you're writing a check you cannot cash. You just because this is a Batman story, and I'm sorry, but using Nightwing as a surrogate for Batman makes this show very incredibly unsuccessful, in my opinion.
yeah.
The successful thing is like that's a great Nightwing suit. Like it looks awesome.
I like
The
it.
fight choreography still looks good. But man, everything else about the Robin, Dick Grayson, Nightwing character, I'm just like, you suck, dude. You
Yeah, and I hope
suck.
they don't shoot everyone next season as well.
I really hope not. That
I feel like they
I'm
got
with
that
you
out of
on
their
that.
system. Hopefully,
Yeah, this is where everyone went trigger happy this season, and there was no consequences.
yeah. The only consequences, like obviously Barbara Gordon is one, but that's an event that happened off screen. Like
Yes,
you like it before the events of this season, so
right.
you're like, oh yeah. I mean, it's
And this
weird that that would
season,
happen to her, given how many people got shot in the season, and just were like, yeah, I'm good,
yeah,
man. Don't worry. Like, and I'm talking about like, I guess I'm just talking about Tim's dad. Of like,
sure.
he's like, there is literally no long term effects to me being shot.
Yeah, he's like,
I'm
I'm
sorry
just
you had to
bouncing
lose a
around the
leg.
next day. There was, yeah, like it was wild to me. I'm like, oh, I think this show forgot that they shot Ryan like
Hmm.
just a few episodes before, and that there should be no reason why he's moving around this spry and this
Yeah,
like whatever. He should be on some sort of like you know bed or something like that to really deepen that impact of like, no, Tim, you're actually leaving your family behind right now. Like, nope, nope, he's healed up, he's good,
he's ready to
just
go.
right through the body, no internal organ damage, even though it's right in the middle of his chest, and you're just like, I'm sure that would have hit a spine or something. Like, no, he's completely good.
No, he's good.
So
Only
yeah,
only Barbara Gordon has to suffer from bullet wounds in
yeah,
any long term way.
and any consequences because again, it was that one thing where it's like, all right, well, I gotta arrest the Argus agent has to arrest her, and then and then to be like, oh yeah, well, you shot a cop, and I'm like, cop was like not listening to the direct order. Like, I don't know what the rule of command is, but like, I'm
I
pretty
don't
sure
know.
you don't
I
get
completely checked
arrested for
out of
that kind of
that.
stuff.
When she's like, actually, I'm from Arkansas, I'm like, I'm out. I
Yeah,
don't
and
care.
that
I
there's
don't know.
like, I'm not actually gonna do any of the things. And I'm like, wait, what?
I was like, wait,
Okay.
is this Amanda Waller? And then it wasn't. And I was like, yeah, I'm out. I don't care. After this
Yeah,
point, I don't care.
yeah.
Something interesting about that. I think her name's
Mhm.
Samantha Welch,
Mhm.
who plays Barbara Gordon. Is she actually is an amputee? Like had her leg amputated in real life because of
Oh
a
well,
car accident.
right.
I think it's like she saved her kid. Like she was at like a farmer's market or something and got her
Oh
kid out
wow.
of the way and got it. So it's like it was an interesting thing because obviously in this season you see her standing up, and I
Mhm.
remember thinking like, oh, they didn't get someone who actually has an amputated leg. But then looking into it, I was like, oh, they did, and they made it work when she in
Mhm.
her pre-amputation part. Like that's good. I'm glad that that could work out for her.
Yeah, yeah. That was something I didn't know, but I'm glad to see that. Yeah, very cool stuff. Um, that she saved her daughter, not that she got her leg amputated.
Yeah, it's
Just
not
want to
cool. I mean,
clarify.
I think
That's not cool. It's
I
the
just read
whole
that
you
as it's
saved a
cool
freaking
that
life. Yeah.
someone in the business with a
Yes.
difference like that can get work on. Well,
Hmm.
let's not kid ourselves. Like it's not like this is the show everyone's talking about, but it is a high profile show enough,
Yeah.
and you could still get work. Um,
Major
to this
network, major
level,
IP. Yeah.
and it didn't take her out of the running that she doesn't have her leg now because
Hmm.
I know usually the argument is like, well, you have to get someone who can play the pre, and then
Right.
we'll just figure it out after. But I'm glad
Hmm.
they did the effort to figure out the pre.
Yep.
Yeah. So I just thought that was a nice touch in
Yeah.
this season.
I would agree. I would agree with that.
All right.
All right. Let's
Well,
rate this thing.
agreed. I'm gonna give it a 6. I just like Batman stuff. What about you?
Yeah, I'm at 5.5.
Yep. There we go.
This is still I do agree that this is my favorite season so far. I'm just like, this is just a show that wants to do something
It's faint
that,
praise.
yeah,
Yeah, this
it's
is my favorite season, I think. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
now I'm like, was season 2 really that bad? Like, I don't know.
No, I mean,
It
this is
seems all
always going to
pretty.
be my favorite season just
Yeah.
because I'm like, I know that guy,
Yeah.
referring to Ryan. But I'm just like, the idea of like, the show is just interested in using these characters and telling a different version of these stories. And
Yeah.
that's just what I have to be okay with.
And as I said, I feel like, again, I haven't seen season 4. This season feels like it is actually acknowledging that and wanting to change direction. So I
Yeah.
think that's part of my 6, as well as like, it seems like you're aware of the holes you've written yourself into, but
Mhm.
who knows what's going to happen in season 4. I didn't see
Who
great
knows?
responses to it in real time, but
Well,
we'll find out.
I mean, hey, at least they're consistent. Like,
Yeah. Well,
it's gonna be fun to do anyways. But yeah,
yeah. All right, then. Well, thank you very much for listening, everybody. You can find us at tdfeverything.com/spoiledrotten. We've got our Instagram, Threads, YouTube, and TikTok handle at tdfspoiled. We are spoiledpodcast@gmail.com. And we're on all the different podcast platforms, so please rate, review, subscribe, follow, share with your friends, get in touch with us, let us know how you feel, all that good stuff. And we will be back next time to do the last 3 episodes of Daredevil. All right, bye-bye.
cheers.
This has been a TDF Everything production, brah.